Hey everyone, Paul out Sam. Welcome to part 2 of our Hasegawa 124 Ferrari 250TR video build. Back with part 2 of this today. We've got a lot of cleanup to do. We've got some priming, painting, a little bit of assembly, which is going to lead us on to part 3, which is the completion of this fantastic kit. This is an absolutely beautiful kit to build. It's a shame it's one of those kits that you just can't find available anywhere for sale any ease, and when you do, it's an absolute arm and a leg to buy. So it is such a shame, but if you can get it or you've got it, buy it and get it built because it's a lovely kit to build. Right, let's jump in and let's get cracking where we left off in part 1. Right then, so we travelled back in time a little bit from the last video, because if you look at the body, it's not 2K'd, whereas in the last video, it was. So we've gone back, a little bit of excess footage I had of the wheels being made, so rather than waste it or try and cram it in the last video, I thought I'll save it and put it on the beginning of part 2. So we're going with the kit wheels. They're not my first choice. I would have much rather have got the Hobby Design aftermarket wheels for them, like I put my 250 GTO in 24 scale, but they are simply not out there. Can't find them everywhere. These are the next best option. I could have got 3D printed, but it would have held up the build, and I thought, right, we'll just roll with it. I've left the kit chrome on because the chrome's actually pretty nice. Is it too shiny? I don't know. Maybe it would have been beneficial to put a bit of a satin coat on there, but I'll be honest, I was quite happy to leave them as they are. So that's literally what I've done. I've given them a Tamiya panel line wash in black, got the tyres on, and that's it. Now, there are some PE knockoffs in the detail upset, so we're going to use those. I've got some nice 3D dome Ferrari logo badges, so we'll put those on as well, and try and spruce them up a little bit and make it look a bit better than the standard. But real pain with some of these detail upsets that if you don't get them when they come out, they tend to go out of stock and you can never get them again. So my advice is, if you ever see a detail upset, even if you think I'm not going to build that for a year, buy it while you can. The same with decals, wheels, anything like that, because they are often made in limited runs. So the wheels given a wash and cleaned up with a cotton bud. We've got a dab of Bob Smith's Gold CA glue. The knockoffs have been bent over to make them look like the real thing, and they're just glued in place gently and pushed down with the tweezers to make sure they are fully home and where we want them. Perfect. And then, as I say, I've got these aftermarket 3D dome. Oh, flicked it. Where'd it go? There it is. 3D dome badges, and these add a lot of detail because they give a real good dome effect look to the badges. So one each of those on the wheels, and that's as good as it's going to get. It will stick eventually. The whole thing's come off now. Now I've got Segel on the tyre. It's a calamity. What is going on? What is going on? But anyway, we'll try again. We'll get it all in place like so. There we go. Push it home, and we'll get a cotton bud and get this excess Segel off. Clean up some parts now. We're going to go through and cut every single piece off and clean everything up together. It was mind-numbingly boring. I hate this part. This is my least favourite part of modelling. Part cleanup is the bane of my life. It really is. I get through that many kits. All I ever seem to be doing is cleaning up parts. And although it's not the most complicated kit, there's quite a lot of parts to this. So when you clean it all up in one go, it's a bit soul destroying. But we pushed through, did it on a couple of daily live streams, got it all done. And the cleanup wasn't all that bad, to be fair. There was just quite a lot of it. So I've got my Tamiya side cutters, which are excellent, my preferred choice of cutter. And we're just going through and seeing what we need and what we don't need, what we need now, what we'll need later. And anything we can prime and paint is cut off, cleaned up with UMP sanders. We've got our sponge, our thinny sticks, our buffers, our thinny buffer here. And we're going to remove all the sprue attachment points, get them all cleaned up to nice, clean plastic. Like I say, quite a lot of parts. Some of the sections, like those support beams, you can see top in white. Very difficult to clean up because of all the internal structure of it all. On the engine, quite simple, really clean up, and that's just going to be glued together, and we'll prime it in one whole unit. Now, going through instructions and looking at the supplement sheet for the PE, there are some PE parts to go on, so they've all been cut off after the cleanup's done. This is day 2 of cleanup now, and using some Bob Smiths, we're going to put the PE grills over the radiators. the oil cooler, and then the other parts that need the PE on now before paint. So you need to go through and work out, number one, what is going to be plastic, number two, what is replaced with photo etch, what is going to need painting now, what will need painting later, as we're doing here now, what can be attached now. If these parts are the same colour, which they are, they're all going to be black, semi-gloss black, or semi-gross black, as the kit calls out for. They may as well be glued in place, and that's what we're going to do. So we've got them all cleaned up, hold them in place, get your Tamiya extra thin. This is my mix with Plasti-Weld. I have a video on the channel showing how I mix it. It's a 50-50 mix. It makes a bit of a hotter glue that doesn't dry as quick as some of the other faster drying plastic glues. And just apply a little bit of this, get it all lined up nice and straight. Repeat that for the other side, and then we can prime all this as one unit rather than painting several little pieces and then gluing it all together. Like I say, it's all going to be the same colour. There is some PE to go on here as well. We'll add that later just before we get to primer. But it makes sense now. My opinion is, if you can get it glued in place now, it's not going to hinder the build. Do it while you can. Also on the front, we've got the front support and the radiator in place as well. So again, if you can get it in place now, this is all going to be black. It's all going to be semi-gloss black. So it makes sense to glue it in now. It's much cleaner and neater. And then here we are on the spray booth. So we're going to go with Mr. Servicer 1500 black. Going through my Iwata HPC Plus, which is a 0.2mm needle airbrush, I think. Was it 0.3? It's 0.3, isn't it? It's 0.3, the Iwata HPC Plus. Yes. Excuse me. I'm a bit of an idiot. And we're going to put down a couple of light coats. Not going mad, just getting a light coat down to begin with, especially over the white parts, because they're going to take a bit more careful primer than the black parts. And we'll just go around everything, give a couple of coats, and get a nice primer coat on everything. That can be left for a couple of hours, and we can come back and get our base coat down. Base colours, which is going to be LP5 and a mixture of Mr. Hobby Super Metallics. There you go. Near enough everything is primed there now. We've just got some finishing touches to go. Steering wheel, we're priming in pink because we're going to do this the Camilleri way. I will explain that later on. But we're going in pink primer for now. This is Tamiya's pink primer decanted and thinned about 20% with Tamiya lacquer thinner with retarder. Same on the tonneau cover for the passenger seat. We're going to prime in pink as we are with the interior parts and our engine valve covers too. So we're going Bordeaux red on the interior leather seats. Same on the tonneau cover, the cylinder heads, the rocker cover, cam cover heads, wherever you call them in your country, valve covers, they're going to go in a nice red from Mr. Hobby. And the pink primer allows red paint to just absolutely pop. The exhaust are being done in Alclad exhaust manifold. Again, good suggestion from Mr. Camilleri. Work perfect. I'm going to weather this up a little bit with some different paints later on. But right now, I'm just trying to get our base colours down and we can detail paint them later as we go. Same on the manifold as well. And we will weather these more towards the manifold end than the exhaust tip, because that's where the heat will gather. So we've got some GX red now. I forget which number the red is, but it's one of the GX range. There's about 6 paints in the range. Highly pigmented paints, very, very high quality. Thinned with about 50% Mr. Hobby leveling thinner. And through our Iwata Revolution 0.3, about 18 psi, we'll put a light coat down and we come back with a second heavier coat so we get a nice gloss finish. Now, the second part of doing the steering wheel, we've got pink primer down, is now we have light flesh from Tamiya, which off the top of my head is LP60. I'm assuming it is. No, it's not. It's LP66. I was looking at the wrong paint. So we've got LP66 on the steering wheel, and then we've got Pro Scale Bordeaux Red for our leather seats. So this is my chosen colour. Might sound a bit odd against blue, but trust me, it's going to absolutely pop. It'll look absolutely fantastic. Now, I have a plan for these. We're going to semi-gloss varnish the seats to give a nice leather look. By the looks of pictures, a lot of these covers, these tonneau covers, seem to be a canvas colour. So we're going to completely matte coat it and hopefully change the texture of the paint, the look, and the colour as well. And that'll hopefully make it look different to the leather interior. But for now, we're just going to get a couple of base colours down, coats down of the Bordeaux red. Pro scale, our paints are fantastic. This interior colour is one of my favourites. Looks absolutely fantastic. And there we go. Couple of light coats, building it up at about 18 psi. Our paints are ready to go out the bottle. You can see our website in the description down below. We're adding colours all the time. We've got over 100 colours in the range now, and we can custom match paints at no extra cost on request. So with the valve covers dry, we've got some X18 enamel paint, and we're just going to detail paint the cover now. So there's a couple of black pieces on the top here. I'm just going to detail paint. I've got a nice 00 Winsor Newton sable brush here. It's a Series 7. One of my preferred brushes for detail painting. And then we have some chrome detail to the bolt heads around the edge of the engine. So we've got a nice fresh toothpick, some Tamiya X11, I think it is, chrome silver enamel. We're just loading a little bit up on the end of the toothpick. And we're just touching into the bolt head to give that nice chrome look to them. Nice and simple. Take your time. It's a small detail, but it is very appealing to the eye. It does catch your eye, and it is well worth doing because, like I say, it does add a good bit of detail to it. And then on the Ferrari lettering on the top, we're going to do exactly the same. We use our toothpick, load it up with paint, and just gently dab it on the raised lettering. And if you're nice and careful, you won't get any excess. It won't dribble everywhere, and you'll get that Ferrari logo perfectly detailed. And the great thing is, using enamel paint on a lacquer, so if you do screw it up, it'll just wipe right off. No problem at all. I do really like these Tamiya paints, these enamels. The only downside is they don't like enamel washers very much, and you can have a few issues with it reactivating the paint. So with those done, we've got some P to apply to the interior. So we've got some pedals to pop on. Out of photo-etched, there's a gear lever surround to go on. There's two side pieces on the interior that are in there that we've already painted black. The engine has some P as well. We've got the intakes on top of the intake manifold. The chrome pieces out of the kit. They can go straight on, chromed, just left as is, out the kit. It's actually a really, really nice engine. We've just made a bigger version of this for the 250 GTO out of white metal for Model Factory Hero. So this is a plastic version of it, so I'm quite familiar with it now. And it actually is a very nice 24 scale engine that's going to look great at the end. So line all those up, bit of Bob Smith's glue to get those in place. And like I say, some P to detail it. So we've got the tops of these, I think they're breathers, are they? On the side. Tops of those are PE. We've got some carb linkages to put in as well. And although at the very beginning of the build, I did say I'm not going to wire this engine up, it got the better of me, and I decided to wire the engine up. So for 0.3 drill bit, nice and precisely, we're drilling out all the distributors, 6 holes in each one, preferably no holes in the fingers. We'll see how that goes. And then we've got some 0.2mm cable or wire. I had to get this from a Raspberry Pi shop. It's the only place I could find wire this small. It was about £10 for 5 meters. It wasn't cheap at all. And with a little dab of CA glue, we're going to wire up the distributors first, and then we'll focus on wiring the engine up. Now, I'm not going to do these in firing order. Yes, I know, I can hear the groans of disappointment across the board. Life's too short for that. It's not going to start. Besides, there's no fuel, there's no spark. It's not going to start. So does it really matter if it's not wired up properly? Also on the real car, where these HT leads travel to the engine, there is actually a tube that they sit in. It's not included with the kit. I didn't really have anything scale enough that would have done the job, so I opted just to put the wires straight into the engine itself. So with all the leads in the distributor now, we can start to wire them into the engine itself. We drilled holes next to the manifold like we did on the larger scale engine, and we're just going to feed the wire in. We've gone all the way into the engine, so we've got a nice big hollow void inside now. And with a little dab of glue, we can just push and push and push the wire inside until we get to the right length, and carry on till we get all 6 done per side, like so. Quite tricky in places, but not too bad really. Try and keep it as neat as possible. So make sure they're long enough so they all bunch together. and it will look half decent, it will. And then with one side done, we're going to try the manifold, make sure everything still fits in place properly. Which again it does. That's looking good. And we do the other side then. With those done, we can get the valve covers on. So some careful application of Bob Smiths. We can get our valve covers in place. They are handed, so make sure you get the correct one. And they are the right way around. And with a gentle squeeze, they do take a little bit of persuasion to get on. There we go. The red valve covers make an excellent addition to this engine. It looks absolutely great with them. We're going to paint the top of the distributors black as well with some X18 enamel paint from Tamiya again. I really wish my 250 GTO engine had these red covers, but they are black on the 250 GTO because it just adds an interesting bit of life to the engine, really. It's just black on the GTO, and I kind of wish I'd gone back now and painted them red, but hey, it is what it is. So we've got the throttle linkages to pop in place now on the carbs, which aren't really there as such, but they are. So we put a dab of glue across the top. There's 2 pieces of PE for it. It's basically on a strip on the sheet. I'm just going to line it up on each connection point and push it home, let the glue grab it. And then there's another one that just connects underneath to it as well and forms all the linkage for the carbs. There's a second one in place now. There we go, very careful. They are very, very thin pieces, easily misshapen. So we need to take it really nice and slow. There we are. And there we go, there's our engine complete. The exhaust manifolds have been checked to make sure they fit. Now, one mistake. I did read instructions. You're supposed to put the engine in, then the sides support on the front and the radiator, etc., etc. I didn't see that, but luckily, I'd already test fitted to make sure it fitted. A little bit of persuasion. There you go. It goes straight in. So there's a connection point under the transmission and 2 engine mounts at the side as well. A little dab of glue on there and they fit fine. The suspension A-arms call for silver, so we're going to brush paint those in enamel X11 Tamiya silver. With a nice brush, they paint beautiful. And the enamels really do self-level. They are so highly pigmented, they look absolutely fantastic. And then we're just going to quickly test fit the manifolds. Yeah, they fit. And then a little dab of glue. It's got a glue pot out of shot, so just dipping the locator points in there very gently. It's Bob Smiths again, so you get loads of time to work with this stuff. Just pop it in, wiggle it in place. Like so. And there we go. That's those in. And then we give it a quick wash. So we've got some Tamiya black panel line wash. We had a couple of drops of Santador, odorless mineral spirits from Winsor & Newton, just to thin it out a touch. Like so. And it just adds a bit of depth to the engine. So, you know my philosophy. If I hold a wash, give it a wash. The only thing I avoided here with the cylinder heads, because I didn't want to get black all over them. I think it would have ruined the look of them. All the carbs, anything and everything gets a wash, including all the transmission underneath. Let that dry for half an hour with some gentle rubbing with a clean cotton bud. Take all the excess wash off, and it just adds depth to everything. It really does make a massive difference. So we've got the steering arms in place, the hubs are in, we've got the poly caps in the hubs, in the brake system, which are drums on this because of the age of the car. They are literally clicked in place. Then we've got the steering rack, it says, with the linkage, I suppose it is really, and then the anti-roll bar on the front. Just pop it in. They've all got little dabs of glue on them to hold them in, and then the rear differential in place. The fuel tank's in. It is literally push fitted in at the minute. I didn't commit to glue because obviously I didn't know if it was going to line up, so it's literally push fitted in. You'll see it fall off later because I forget I haven't glued it. Then we put some dabs of glue on the locator points for the transmission. And then pop it in place. So you kind of got to hover it for now. So we pop it into the back of the transmission. We just need to hover it there for a minute and we grab each of the suspension sides. It's a bit tricky to do, so take your time here. As you can see, there's there's 3 located points on the side and on the differential itself, on the actual drive shafts. They just all click in place. We've got glue there ready to hold them. Just give it a second for the glue to get some purchase on it. And then repeat that for the other side. It's not the strongest of mounts, so don't be putting any excess pressure on the top, but it does work. Seats are all dry now, and we're going to semi-gloss these using some Mr. Hobby UV semi-gloss clear. This is out of a rattle can. It's been decanted. I've got a blur effect on, so you can't see what I'm doing. Yes, pain in the arse. But anyway, I think this camera in the booth is starting to die a death. Here's my very old one from overhead over the bench, and it was relegated to the booth, but it is struggling a bit now. So the seats are semi-gloss clear to get that leather effect, and this we want to make it look like fabric. So I've got some tested Dulco here. We thinned it with Mr. Leveling Thinner, and we're going to give it a couple of light coats that will really dull this down. Not only will it change the colour slightly, it'll change the texture, and it'll look different. The P dashboard, the actual instrument bezel, we painted black. Same way we do the Alpha models and the kit box number plates. We just then rub over a sander over the top, and it highlights all the bezels. Turns them silver. Really simple trick to do. We've got the kit decals in there. All the instruments are in. This will look great for how simple it is. It's going to look really good. So get everything in position, and then we're going to hit it with some UMP strong solution. This is UMP decal solution. Can't beat decal solutions from UMP. They are absolutely fantastic. And there we go. Our nice simple instrument cluster looks absolutely perfect. Seat belts, I'm not going to bore you making seat belts. This is literally black seatbelt material with the buckle supplied in the detail upset. And we put the buckle on the end and the adjustment piece halfway down with some double-sided tape on. They are placed in, like so. There are decals in the kit if you don't want to do this, but trust me, do this. It looks a million times better. And there we go. We're going to leave that there today, and we'll come back for part 3 soon. It's a quick cut-off, I know. Literally with the footage I've got lately, I'm getting to a point and just editing the whole video as a whole lot and cutting it up into segments. So literally get to a point and stop. There's no natural flow on it. Well, there is a natural flow. There's no actual stop is the word I'm looking for. It's just an actual flow and stop as you get to a point. So part 3 is already to rock and roll as well with this one. So you'll see it in a couple of days. Wednesdays and Saturdays on ISM. And they get up to upload to Patron near enough as soon as they're done. But there we go. Looking good so far. The only thing I'm disappointed with is the wheels. I would have really liked to have got those wheels from Hobby Design. The same ones we had on the 250 GTO. Just can't find them anywhere. If I ever see a set pop up, I will more than likely buy them and add them to the kit. Because I think it does deserve them. It is a really, really nice kit. And I think it would only add to this build because this is an absolutely stunning kit, and this build is going to look fantastic. It really, really is. But there we go. That's where we are for today. We're back part 3 very, very soon, and we'll get this beautiful kit all finished up. As always, you check out the links down below. There's all sorts down there, all links to everything ISM related, the forum and Facebook page. Again, big thanks to all my patrons and supporters. You're all absolute legends for your continued support. I'm going to start flashing your names up on screen. Going forward, I'm going to do a slideshow of all the supporter names. It's just another perk of being a supporter. I suppose you get to see your name on screen. If you don't want your name on there, let me know and I'll remove it. But if not, I'm going to pop them up for you, basically. And if you'd like to become a patron, there's a link down below. There's all different tiers you can pick. They've all got perks to them and bonuses to go into particular tiers. You can get early access on videos, exclusive video builds, exclusive how-to videos. You can request reviews. You can request technique videos. I'm all ears on all those. You also get an exclusive access to a Facebook page and a messenger chat group. There's about 60 of us in there so far. We can chat with everybody else, and myself included. And without your support, I couldn't keep doing this. So the patronage is very important to me. And if anyone's thinking of becoming one, you can become a yearly member, you can pay monthly, whatever you want to do. And if you want to make a one-off donation, there's a PayPal me link and a Buy Me Coffee link down below as well. And like I say, down below there's links to everything. ISM, UMP, Pro Scales down there, Ultimate Modern Products as I've just said. You got links to the live show, the Off Air Hangouts, my scale laters there. There's an email address to get in touch with me as well. And of course, make sure you sub to the channel, click the thumbs up, give the video bell or notification ring. Give the video notification bell a click, my bad. And please make sure you sub to the channel as well. And please leave a comment. I love reading all your comments on the videos. They spur me along with the builds, and I do look forward to getting a bit of feedback from people. And like I say, part 3 will be up very, very soon. Alright, so enjoy the rest of the day, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.